Friends Digital.
Hello and what's up? আমি সৃজন চলে এসেছি নিয়ে ফ্রেন্ডস ডিটেলে yet another episode of warm up with Srijon. গত সপ্তাহে we spoke about 5 T20 World Cup upset matches এবং এই সপ্তাহে বাকি 5টার কথা বলবো. You can see in this caption below here, warm up with Srijon. তার নিচে দেখো T20 World 10 T20 World Cup upset matches. মানে we are going to talk about 10 matches, okay? So we already spoke about 5 of them. কিন্তু ছোট্ট করে চটপট একটা recap নিয়ে নেব. Before that, let me talk about of course the cricket tournament that is on. এখানে এই গত পরশু নভেম্বর 6th সানডেতে খেলা হয়েছে নেদারল্যান্ডস ভার্সেস সাউথ আফ্রিকা. নেদারল্যান্ডস won by 13 runs. Can you believe that? Netherlands 13 রানে জিতে গেছে. Wow, man! I mean, that is one of the major upsets. It should get included into the list basically. কিন্তু সেটা এইবারের জন্য আর রাখছি না, মানে এই লিস্টটাতে আর রাখার জায়গা নেই. পরের বার কখন যখন আবার শো করবো এরকম আপসেটস নিয়ে, তখন আই থিঙ্ক নেদারল্যান্ডস ভার্সেস সাউথ আফ্রিকা 13 রানে যেখানে নেদারল্যান্ডস জিতলো, এইটা দিস ইজ গোয়িং টু বি ওয়ান অফ দ্য মেজর আপসেটস অফ অল টাইম ইন T20 ওয়ার্ল্ড কাপ. Bangladesh versus Pakistan, সেখানে Pakistan won by 5 wickets, and India versus Zimbabwe, India registered a big win. It was a win by 71 runs. So যেখানে একটা সময় ছিল পাকিস্তান was almost going out of the World Cup, সেখানে Pakistan has gone through to the semi-finals. Like awesome, amazing things happening. Australia নিজের দেশে আর সেমিফাইনালে যেতে পারলো না. So sad for them, feeling kind of bad for them obviously. এবং ওদিকে সাউথ আফ্রিকা যেতে পারলো না, শ্রীলঙ্কা যেতে পারলো না, and গেল নিউজিল্যান্ড পাকিস্তান, যাদের দুজনে ম্যাচ রয়েছে আগামীকাল, and then India versus England Thursday 10th of November. So waiting for the semi-finals. এখন আমরা we are going to talk about the 10 T20 major upsets in World Cup. Okay, in T20 World Cup 10 major upset matches. আমরা প্রথম 5টার কথা বলেছিলাম গত সপ্তাহে, বাট সেটা চট করে একবার রিভাইজ করে নেবো. We are going to talk about the number 10 match, which was of course Ireland versus Bangladesh, that happened in 2009. Okay, 2009 হয়েছিল Ireland versus Bangladesh, and then in this particular match of course both teams had felt major positions in the 50 over World Cup. এই থেকে 2 বছর আগে আর কি, 2009 থেকে 2 বছর আগে, মানে 2007. বাংলাদেশ যদিও আইসিসি ফুল মেম্বার ছিল for almost 9 years. Ireland was playing the first match in the history of the tournament. কিন্তু তা সত্ত্বেও ট্রেন্ট জনসন reduced Bangladesh to 90 for 6. That's right. So that's about it. And Ireland যদিও lost 3 wickets and more wickets basically যখন আয়ারল্যান্ড ব্যাট করতে গেছিল, but still they registered a win with 10 balls to spare. Now that's amazing. Yeah, Bangladesh এখানে celebrate করছিল, but Bangladesh's celebration did not really last. Yeah. And we'll go to number 9. Number 9 এ রয়েছে Oman versus Ireland. Oman versus Ireland match এ if you look at the pictures, this is the Oman versus Ireland match that happened in 2016. Oman জিতে গেছিল, and of course one of their biggest wins, because Ireland এখনো মানে যত দিন গেছে Ireland has become a significant member in the ICC, of course, and they are getting better with every passing day. So that was number 9 for you. চলে যাব number 8. That was Hong Kong versus Bangladesh. That's right, a Hong Kong versus Bangladesh that happened in 2014. Shakib Al Hasan বেশ ভালো খেলেছিল, and Hong Kong were 54-5 at one point of time. ওদিকে বাংলাদেশ 85 for 3 হয়ে গেছিল before being bowled out for 108 by left arm spinner Nadeem Ahmed, যে 4 উইকেট নিয়েছিল 21 বল দিয়ে. So Hong Kong won the match basically. Hong Kong won the match versus Bangladesh. যদিও Bangladesh is celebrating, of course, but Hong Kong won the match with I think 2 balls to spare. Yeah. So Hong Kong নিজেরাও ভাবতে পারেনি তারা জিতে যাবে, but they won the match. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. That is Bangladesh versus West Indies that happened on 2007. Happened in 2007, and that is at number 7. ওই ম্যাচে ক্রিস গেল early out হয়ে গেছিল। ডেভন স্মিথ was batting at 51 and Shakib Al Hasan took 4 wickets for 25 runs and মিডল অর্ডারটা প্রায় সাকিব আল হাসান একাই ধসিয়ে দিয়েছিল বলা যেতে পারে। বাংলাদেশ also were had a very rough run towards their win. 28 for 2 হয়ে গেছিল but Mohammad Ashraful was there. 27 ball is 61. 27 ball is 61. A true blue T20 innings, I would say. Yeah. It was a true blue T20 innings that Bangladesh played. And this is the basically the, I mean, এর আগেরটাই দেখিয়ে ফেলেছিলাম, but this is Bangladesh versus West Indies basically. সেটার পোস্টারটা তোমায় দেখাচ্ছি, creative of that particular match. Yeah, so that's about it for number 7. Number 6 এ চলে যাবো Scotland versus Bangladesh. Okay, এবং that happened on in 2021. ওদিকে বাংলাদেশ ওই পার্টিকুলার ম্যাচটা they lost by 6 runs. যদিও ম্যাচটা টান ছিল and Scotland were a happy team, yeah, to win that particular match. Then moving on to number 5, Netherlands versus England হয়েছিল এই Netherlands versus England ম্যাচটা 2014 এ, and England were already in the race towards the semi-finals. To make things worse, Captain Stuart Broad had been fined 15% of his match fee for criticizing the umpires after they allowed the New Zealand match to continue despite thunderstorms. Okay. যাই হোক, England did well মোটামুটি in Chattogram to restrict the Dutch to 133 for 5 after they were 110 for 2 in 16 overs. So Broad বেশ ভালো বল করেছিল 3 for 24. England openers added 18 before Mudassar Bukhari took 2 wickets in 2 balls, and total number of wickets were 3 for 12. Yeah, and Logan Van Beek 3 for 9 joined in. And England were astonishingly shot out for 88. 88 England were all out. Can you believe that? That's what happened. England were all out for 88, and that too in 18 overs. And this remains the lowest all-out score for an ICC full member team against an associate, because Netherlands is an associate member. And the English, being the founder of cricket, technically they are full-time ICC members, and this is the lowest total by a full-time ICC member. Yeah, kind of face loss. অপমানজনক হার বলা যেতে পারে। এইবার পাঁচটা বলে দিলাম, চলে যাবো নাম্বার 4। পাঁচটা বলে দিলাম মানে নাম্বার 6 অবধি বললাম, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6। এইবারে নাম্বার 5টা বললাম, চলে যাবো এবার নাম্বার 4 এ। and the number 4 match is basically Zimbabwe versus Australia. So Zimbabwe had failed many an opposition before in the 50 over World Cup. In fact, that list began with Australia in 1983. But this was an Australian side that had not lost a single match in 2 entire World Cups. এই যে উইনিং স্ট্রিক ছিল, সেটা উইনিং স্ট্রিকটা কন্টিনিউ করছিল quite obviously. যদিও Australians when they were playing, এইবারে যেরকম হলো, Australia is not there in their own soil. World Cup is happening, but they have been evicted out of the World Cup. They have exited the World Cup, সেভাবে বলা যেতে পারে. They are not through to the semi-finals. And that was a different format obviously সেই সময়, আরো বেশি করে 2007 it was a new format. এবং সেখান থেকে 4 বছর আগে, মানে 2007 থেকে 4 বছর আগে, মানে 2003 এ তিনাশে পানিয়াঙ্গারা and Elton Chigumbura had bowled out Australia for 73 at the under-19 World Cup. But there was no Panyangara this time, but Chigumbura was there এবং 3 overs এ 20 রান দিয়ে 3 উইকেট নিয়েছিল, and he took out Matthew Hayden and Adam Gilchrist in his first 8 balls. And with Gary Brent যে 4 ওভার বল করে 19 রান দিয়েছিল মাত্র। Can you believe that? T20 ফরম্যাটে 2 উইকেট নিয়েছিল, and it took Australia every effort to make 138 for 9 after 20 overs. And then Vusi Sibanda 15 বলে 23 করেছিল, and he helped Zimbabwe get a stormy start, basically a good start. And then Brendan Taylor batted through the innings with an unbeaten 45 ball 60. So it came down to 12 of the last over, but Taylor swept Nathan Bracken for 4 and somehow found 4 leg byes of the penultimate ball. When a penultimate one, the last ball, last আগের ball, last but one ball, যেটা তাতে 4 রান পেয়ে গেছিল leg by. So that was a major help to achieve 12 runs in the last over. And then moving on for এই ম্যাচটার a few pictures. এই যে Chigumbura, you can see Chigumbura here, number 47. Yeah, celebrating. So that was the Zimbabwe-Australia match. Game 4 of ICC World T20 South Africa 2007. This is the match poster. Zimbabwe winning the match, obviously. And this is Chikumbura and other cricketers celebrating. ওদিকে আমরা পিছনে দেখতে পাচ্ছি রিকি পন্ডিং হতাশ অবস্থায়, আর কি করা যাবে। So this was an upset match after all, right? And then we are going to talk about the number 3 match in today's list of 10 matches, 10 major upsets. And that is number 3 is Namibia versus Sri Lanka in 2022. This was the match that inspired this list basically. And ahead of the tournament, Sri Lanka কিন্তু জিতেছিল, তাদের শেষ 5টা ম্যাচ জিতেছিল on the trot to clinch the Asia Cup basically. এবং নামিবিয়ার অবস্থা কিন্তু বেশ খারাপ ছিল এই পার্টিকুলার ম্যাচটাতে। নামিবিয়া were reduced to 93 for 6 before Jan Freiling score করেছিল 44 not out in 28 balls, and JJ Smith I'm going to talk about, he scored 31 in 16. So both were swashbuckling innings, I would say. But in the end, Namibia pulled off a miracle. 93 for 6 হয়ে যাওয়ার পর লাস্ট উইকেট পার্টনারশিপ মানে আলটিমেটলি ওরা 163 for 7 করেছিল, মানে সপ্তম মানে আরেকটাই উইকেট পড়েছিল, and the grand total was 163, and that was quite a respectable total, I must say, against a team like Sri Lanka, and by a team like Namibia. Namibia Sri Lankaর মতো টিমের against 163 for 7 করেছিল, and that was amazing. But the Sri Lanka top order, what did they do? Sri Lankan top order was undone by Ben Shikongo of Namibia, who started with a double wicket maiden. From there, Namibians took the pace of the ball, including the Sri Lankans, to go from inducing basically, forcing the Sri Lankans, setting a trap to go for the big shots. And যেখানে খেলা হচ্ছিল যে মাঠটা, and the name of the ground is Kardinia Park. Okay, সেই গ্রাউন্ডটা is kind of elliptical, মানে দুদিকের বাউন্ডারির লেন্থ অনেকটা বড় ছিল. So Sri Lanka could not clear the boundary. Many a batsman of Sri Lankan side could not clear the boundary, and they collapsed for 108. Yeah, and 6 out of their last 7 wickets were produced out of mistiming shots. Okay, mistime shot এ 6 মারতে গিয়ে আউট হয়েছে, এরকম 6টা উইকেট এরকম ভাবে পড়েছে। Okay, so that was Namibia versus Sri Lanka, number 3. Number 2, Afghanistan versus West Indies, and that particular match happened in 2016. So, West Indies played 6 matches to win this 2016 edition. England ke dubar হারিয়েছিল, Sri Lanka ke হারিয়েছিল, South Africa ke হারিয়েছিল, and of course India ke হারিয়েছিল. Yet they lost against, the only associate nation they faced in the entire edition. নাগপুরে হয়েছিল ম্যাচটা। And Afghanistan were elated, of course. Okay, Afghan score যেটা ছিল সেটা 123 for 7, nothing much. 120 বলে 123, মাত্র 3 রান বেশি করেছিল, রানা বল থেকে 3 রান মাত্র বেশি ছিল। So Afghans found Samuel Badri impossible to score off before Najibullah Zadran led a revival of sorts, মানে basically he scored a 48 not out. ওদিকে স্যামুয়েল বাদ্রি 4 ওভার বল করে 14 রান দিয়ে 3 উইকেট নিয়েছিল। What a spell, amazing. But it was not expected to be more than a face saving effort. Okay, কেউ ভাবেনি যে ম্যাচটা আলটিমেটলি আফগানিস্তান জিতে যাবে। অনিল কুম্বলে টুইট করেছিলেন, in fact, what a win, Afghanistan reputation enhanced at world stage. Yeah, that's what Anil Kumble wrote about Afghanistan after their win against Sri Lanka. সো যেটা হয়েছিল সেটা হচ্ছে যে আফগানিস্তান তো 123-এ 7 উইকেট হারিয়ে 123 রান করেছিল, কিন্তু অফকোর্স যে কোনো ক্রিকেটার, যে কোনো ক্রিকেট ফ্যান যখন এই ম্যাচটা দেখবে লাইভ, যদি কেউ দেখে তাহলে বুঝবে যে হ্যাঁ, মানে it's a respectable total, keeping in mind that they were playing against the champion team West Indies. They were supposed to win the World Cup after all. They were in like fiery form, I would say. So of course Afghanistan, being an associate member of the ICC, played quite well. That is what people are going to think. কিন্তু 123 স্কোর করে যে কেউ জিতে যাবে আফগানিস্তানের মতো টিম, তাও আবার against a team like West Indies, সেটা কেউ ভাবতে পারে, রাইট? So, Johnson Charles had hit two sixes in the second over, bowled by Mohammad Nabi. The West Indies seemed to be on course, of course, but Amir Hamza turned out to be the thorn in the flesh. একজন teenage leg spinner called Rashid Khan. Wait for it. Yeah. The teenage leg spinner that he was back then in 2016, called Rashid Khan, took a wicket with his second ball and struck later again. Nabi returned to compensate for his first over. Afghan spinners did not relent at all. Andre Fletcher retired with a pulled hamstring, and by the time he was back on the field, it was too late. Yeah. এবং পোস্ট ম্যাচ জায়গাতে um, the post-match touch basically made the triumph for the Afghans even more special. Yeah. So, uh, that was an amazing match by Afghanistan. এবং চলে যাব number 1 এ এবার finally the last match that we are going to talk about today, and this number 1 match is once again Netherlands versus England that happened in 2009. 2009 হয়েছিল. So, England, of course, আমরা জানি, being the inventor of cricket, if we say so, okay, they after all did lose this match. They had a head start over any other team in the world, and they were playing at home. Kintu later that year, 2009 এর শেষের দিকে, they would embark upon their hat trick of Ashes series win. And in this tournament, they would beat eventual champions Pakistan and defending champions India. They would win the trophy themselves next time around. The Dutch, on the other hand, were playing their first ever T20 World Cup match. Okay, Dutch, once again associate member, playing their first ever T20 World Cup match. Among England should probably have scored more than 162 for 5 after Ravi Bopara. He scored a swashbuckling 46 in 34 balls. And Luke Wright played really well, 49 balls, say 71. And so they added 102 in 68 balls for the opening wicket. And 162 for 5 is a pretty good total, right? 162 for 5 is a pretty good total. And that too against a team like Netherlands. Kintu, the god of cricket had something else in mind. Yeah. So Jai Hook, the Dutch were reduced to 23 for 2, and the Netherlands turned things right around right after that. And even after Tom de Groot's 30 ball 49 and Peter Boden's 25 ball 30, and Ryan Ten Doshe, if you remember, he used to play for Kolkata's T20 team. 17 ball 25 করেছিল, and he was not out. England was still in despite missing what seemed like 100 run out chances. Yeah. So Broad had to defend 2 from the last ball. Edgar Schifferle, with no serious reputation as a batter, সত্যি কথা বলতে, not known, as a batter, but had hit the ball back to him. And the Dutch pair ran because they, after all, had to. Last ball e 2 run dorkar. But Broad had plenty of time to do a run out, yeah, to aim for the 3 stumps. But he missed. Stuart Broad আর কি করবে? যুবরাজ সিং এর 6টা 6 খাবে, হ্যাঁ, অ্যাম্পল টাইম পে স্টাম্পে বল ছুড়ে সেটাকে মিস করবে। I mean, come on, yeah, pressure situation, you got to learn how to deal with things, yeah, right? যাই হোক, no one was backing that, সেই কারণে ব্যাটার্সরা এক্সট্রা বাই রানস পেয়েছিল, and they won the match. Netherlands won the match in 2009, their first ever T20 match. Yes. So that's about it for today, and thank you very much for joining me on today's warm up with friends. We spoke about 10 World Cup upset matches in T20 World Cup. Yeah. এবার ছোট্ট করে রিক্যাপ করে দিই। Number 10, we spoke about Ireland versus Bangladesh in 2009, and number 9, Oman versus Ireland 2016. Number 8, Hong Kong versus Bangladesh 2014, and number 7, Bangladesh versus West Indies 2007. Number 6, Scotland versus Bangladesh 2021. Number 5, Netherlands versus England 2014. Number 4, Zimbabwe versus Australia 2007. Number 3, Namibia versus Sri Lanka 2022. Number 2, Afghanistan versus West Indies 2016. And number 1, finally, Netherlands versus England 2009. All right. কে জয়েন করলাম আমার সাথে দেখে নেবো। ইয়াশ, গুড ইভিনিং। শেখ আশরাফুল বাপি, থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ ফর জয়েনিং। মুর্শিদাবাদ থেকে জয়েন করেছে। শান্তনা ভট্টাচার্য, অনেক অনেক ধন্যবাদ জয়েন করার জন্য। সুমা দাস, কি খবর, কেমন আছো? মদনি মেহমুদ, থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ। It's a pleasure that you have joined. সুস্মিতা মিত্র জয়েন করেছে, থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ। সিদ্ধার্থ থ্যাংক ইউ, রজত থ্যাংক ইউ। অফকোর্স পরশুদিন আমাদের খেলা রয়েছে ইন্ডিয়া ভার্সেস ইংল্যান্ড সেমিফাইনাল ম্যাচ। All the best to us. Yes. And that's about it. Thank you very much for being with me. You take care and stay tuned to 91.9 Friends FM on air and stay tuned to Friends Digital.